Good morning, students. Before starting today's period, let us revise what we have learned yesterday. Yesterday, we have started our first chapter, the last lesson, written by Alphonse Daudet, and it's a short story based on the idea of linguistic chauvinism that is the part of cultural hegemony and colonialism. Our story is set at the time of Franco-Persian War in 1871, when Persia has conquered two districts of Alsace, and there in the school of these districts, they have banned French language. The native language was French, their mother tongue was French, but it was banned in the school, and their Persian language, German, that is imposed on them. And now in the schools, no more French will be taught. Instead, German will be taught, and in the medium of German, everything will be taught. Uh, in the beginning, our narrator, the little boy, he was going to school and he was late. And again, he was also in great dread of scolding because his teacher, Yam Hamel, he was going to ask the questions on the participles, on the rules of participles, and he did not prepare it. And he, in fact, did not know anything about the rules of participles. That's why he was in great dread of scolding. Now he is going to the school, and when he passed by the town hall, he saw there the great crowd before the bulletin board. The bulletin board that was giving the daily updates of the war between the Prussia and France. And in in those days, all the bad news have come from these bulletin boards. And the little boy thought that what could be the news now. One more thing that we have seen yesterday, that one of the apprentice of blacksmith, while going this little boy to the school hurriedly, he said that don't go so fast, Bub, so hurriedly. There is a plenty of time to go school, he said. The little boy thought that he's making fun of him because he was late. Now let us see the next part of our chapter.
So to continue our next part of our lesson, I think that we have finished the last period by the line, "I thought he was making fun of me," and reached Jim Hammer's little garden all out of breath. Here we stopped, I think. Uh, our main character, he has reached to the garden. Garden is school, the nursery primary school. So Yam Hammer's little garden out of breath because he was running, he was late, and he was coming to the school very hurriedly. So he was out of breath when he reached there, and he was making fun of me. He thought he was mentioning about the apprentice of blacksmith who just said while passing the town hall that there is a plenty of time to reach the school. So why did he say so? What does it suggest? We'll come to know later. But till we'll come to the point, we'll continue with the next part. So the next paragraph, read it, students. Usually, when school began, there was a great bustle, which could be heard in the street. The opening and closing of desks, lessons repeated in unison, very loud, with our hands over our ears to understand better, and the teacher's great ruler rapping on the table. Isn't it, students? In the school, usually, you could, when the students are in the classrooms, the students are in the school, there used to be, very loud noise of different kinds of things, noise of their talking, their gossiping, their murmurs. And not only that, the sound of opening and closing the books, the sound of the teachers, teaching loudly, the sound of the desk, sometime the clappings, sometime the lessons repeated in unison, even in chorus. The nursery rhymes many times we see that are repeated. The students are made to sing the prayers, sing the poems. So in chorus, they loudly, these little enthusiastic children, they sing very loudly, and while singing, they keep their hands on their ears so that they feel comfort to enjoy the song. So all these kinds of noise we could hear usually in the school when the students are there. So this is what the same thing happens with our main character when he reaches the school. No, oh, I'm sorry, it doesn't happen. Usually it happens. He's stating that. But now, see the next line. But it was not like this. But now it was all so still. I had counted on the commotion to get my desk without being seen. But of course, that day everything had to be as quiet as Sunday morning. See, this scene was unusual. Usually, there used to be great noise, great commotion. Commotion means again noise. Noise or the activities that we can't understand, something in a hurry going on. So, when he reached to the school, he is saying that it was not like that. It was still, it was quiet, as silent as quiet as Sunday morning. Very silent, as if no student is there in the class, as if nobody is there in the school. And he said that I had counted on the commotion to get my desk without being seen. Generally, when he comes late, no, the teacher used to busy something on the board, and he used to get on his desk without being noticed. And the noise used to be there, so in that noise, you know, it is not noticed that somebody comes. So this is what happens with the children many times. But today, that day, when our main character, the little boy, comes in the school, there was so silent, there was so still that he could not get to his desk without being seen. Because so it was very silent. Through the window, I saw my classmates already in their places, and M. Hamel walking up and down with his terrible iron ruler under his arm. I had to open the door and go in before everybody. You can imagine how I blushed and how frightened I was. So finally, he get down his desk, but he is telling that uh, you know he has felt very frightened, and he also felt embarrassed. He said, I blushed. You can imagine how I blushed and how I frightened. uh, so at the same time, with the fear, he was also felt ashamed because he was already late. No, everybody was in their class, and he came late, and something serious is there because it was quiet and silent, and he came late, and he had to open the door. Everybody looks at him, so embarrassed he felt. So we can imagine when somebody is feeling guilty, or somebody is coming late and something serious is going on in the class. So he said that you can imagine how I blushed and how frightened I was. So he went there and sat in the classroom. When he entered there, M. Hamel was walking up and down. Maybe he's waiting for his last students, this little boy. And there is a terrible iron ruler under his arm, the teacher's arm, the iron ruler. Those were the days that the teacher used to keep the ruler. Yeah. So nowadays, we don't have such kind of ruler. It is not suggested also by the educational policy. So no ruler, no iron ruler is out of question. Terrible iron ruler. But at that time, the rulers were there. Punitive policies were there in education, in school, and we used to say chadi lagi cham cham vidya gham gham, but we don't have chadi now. So somehow our little boy come to the school and sat in the classroom, feeling embarrassed and frightened. So let us see the little analysis of this paragraph that we have studied. Uh, that we could see the what our narrator has mentioned, that what happens generally in the school and what was not there in the school. Usually, you could see in the chart here, there used to be great bustle, lessons repeated in unison, teachers' voice could be heard loudly. Lessons repeated by the students also could be loud heardly. Usually, this is what happens in the school. But that day, it was still and quiet as Sunday morning. Another thing that little boy has noticed and narrated here, that he could get on his desk usually without noticing due to the noise, due to the commotion. But that day, he was noticed and he was late, and something serious was there in the classroom, and that is why he felt very ashamed, very embarrassed, and frightened also at the same time. There is one more point we should note, that the teacher is having the great, terrible ruler, terrible iron ruler. So later we could analyze of this. What does this such as the ruler? Uh, Let us move further to the next part of the text. Let us see. Now he is frightened and embarrassed and late now. What his teacher says. Let us see. But nothing happened. Young Hamel saw me and said very kindly, "Go to your place quickly, little Franz. We were beginning without you." My God. Now we come to know the name of our main character, the little boy. His name is Franz. Keep it in mind, his name is Franz. And as our narrator Franz thought that what will happen now, he was frightened, he was late. So, what his teacher will say? Will he scold him? But he said that, he narrated that nothing happened like that. But nothing happened. Instead, his teacher, Yam Hamel, having the ruler in hand, having the iron ruler, a terrible iron ruler in the hand, that shows that his master is very strict, disciplined, and the students must be fearing him um, terribly. But nothing happened. Very kindly, this teacher that day says to Franz, "Go to your place quickly, little Franz. We were beginning without you." Yes, he was waiting for this last student. And he asked him gently, with a kind voice, that go to your place. So he didn't object that he's coming late. Let us see the next part. I jumped over the bench and sat down at my desk. Not till then, when I had got a little over my fright, did I see that our teacher had on his beautiful green coat, his frilled shirt, and the little black silk cap, all embroidered, that he never wore except on inspection and prize days. See what happens next. Franz is saying that very quickly he jumped over the bench and sat down at his desk. And when he sat there, so it takes little time to take over his fright means fear. So fright, so to take over his fear, it takes a time generally, isn't it? Or to take over any emotion, it takes a time. So but when he has taken over, so when he little bit he felt little bit comfortable, he saw that his teacher had put on his beautiful green coat, his frilled shirt, and the little black silk cap. And this special dress, the special attire, this special uniform, he generally wore on the inspection days or on the prize days. Means on the special occasion only his teacher put on these clothes. And what kind of these clothes are there? There is a beautiful green coat and his a frilled shirt. Frilled means when we have mm, layers, layers folded uh, at the part of the clothes. Generally, the girls have the frilled corners at the edge of their skirts, at the edge of their sleeves. Even the the gents also they wear the frilled collars, or at the sleeves also they have the frilled. Means when we have the many folded pieces of the clothes as a part of the cloth to the shirt to the pants or many other types of clothes, so frilled one, folded one. So his beautiful green coat, his shirt, his frilled shirt, and cap, little black silk cap, this special dress generally he put on the special occasions like prize days and inspection days. But why did he put on that day? Is there any special? Might be this idea came in his mind, in the mind of little Franz. Let us see whether he thought like this or not. The next part of the text. Besides, the whole school seemed so strange and solemn. Solemn? Solemn means serious, very serious. Oh, there is no noise. Everything is still quiet. So, and that day, teacher is also speaking very kind. He did not object his coming late. So it's very strange. And the entire atmosphere in the school, the whole school, it seemed so strange. He says, different from different from the usual atmosphere, and solemn, serious. Solemn is serious. But let us see the next part. But the thing that surprised me most was to see on the back benches that were always empty, the village people sitting quietly like ourselves. Old Hauser with his three-cornered hat, the former mayor, the former postmaster, and several others besides. Everybody looked sad, and Hauser had brought an old primer thumbed at the edges, and he held it open on his knees with his great spectacles lying across the pages. This is the most surprising thing to see for fans, even for us, in the school where the children learn, where the children study. Why should the villagers come? These back benches generally used to be empty in the class of France, but they are not empty now. They are occupied by the villagers. Who are the villagers here? He mentioned Hauser, the old Hauser, and he has the three-cornered hat. He also mentioned the former mayor. Mayor is the the chairman of the president of municipal corporation of the town of the city. So the former mayor also had come. The former postmaster and several other villagers also. They have come and sit in the classroom. So why should have they come there? See, there are surprising things that he had seen in the classroom. The first thing, that it was very quiet, it was very still, no noise, no commotion. The second thing, that it was very serious. The third thing is that his teacher has put on his special dress. The fourth thing, that the most fourth and the most surprising thing, that all the villagers there, they have come in the classroom to attend the class. Most surprising thing. And everybody looked sad. They were sad. They were not happy. No, it's maybe the special dress and the invited villagers, maybe the happy occasion. No, everybody was looking very sad. And one of the villager, the narrator describes here, he had come with the old primer, the book, the very basic book of any language is called as primer, where we have the number tables, we have alphabets, we have the basic words. So that is such kind of book is called as old primer. And it was thumbed at the edges. Thumbed means when the book is used many times and when it becomes old and the corners are uh, there are no more corners because it was used. So thumbed at the edges, the primer, he had brought it, and he has kept that book on his knees, and with the great spectacle, the big spectacle lying across the pages of the books. So along with the book, they had come. Franz was not able to understand what is happening in the school. He had no idea why such a different thing. Why so strange and solemn and sad atmosphere? Why the villagers in the class? Maybe we can get the answer in the next part. Let us read the next part of our lesson. And before going to the next part, let us see the little analysis of it. Franz noticed strange things in the school. What are these strange things? We could see three strange things. That his teacher is on his special uniform, special dress of the prize day. And another thing is that the whole atmosphere in the school was very serious, very solemn, very strange, and along with that, sad also. And strangest of all is the villagers on the back benches with the books. Okay, now let us go to the next part. When I was wondering about it all, yes, when he looked at all these things, he was surprised and wondering about it. So while I was wondering about it all, young Hamel mounted his chair and in the same grave and gentle tone which he had used to me said, "My children, there is the last lesson I shall give you. I'm sorry. My children, this is the last lesson I shall give you. The order has come from Berlin to teach only German in the school of Alsace and Lorraine. The new master comes tomorrow. This is your last French lesson. I want you to be very attentive. My God. What a thunderclap these words were to me. Oh, the wretches. That was what they had put up at the town hall. Now everything is clear. The teacher has announced what exactly the situation is. In a very serious manner and gentle tone, the teacher said, "My children, this is the last lesson I shall give you. Last lesson." No, even while reading, no, I feel the goosebumps. When, how could you imagine suddenly somebody says that it is the last lesson and after that you will not be able to learn anything, or you will not be able to learn from this class. Mind it, when you will leave this school, no there, your school, so your last lessons will be the most important and unforgettable lessons. So the same way now, but it has come suddenly. The order has come from Berlin. These Persian people, those who have occupied the conquered this district, the Alsace and Lorraine, they have ordered that there will be no more teaching of French language. No more French. Only German will be taught, or by the medium of German will be taught in the school. That's why the teacher says this is the last lesson, and he wanted everybody to be very, very, very attentive. And when our Franz listened this, he said, "What a thunderclap these words were to me! Thunderclap, as if thundered, the lightning, the crash of clouds when it gets storms. This is the now season of storm. When monsoon comes, it doesn't comes as in a comfortable and smooth way. So many places the thundering comes and the sound of thundering. So these words he felt like thunder, the thunderclap, and he said, "Oh, wretches, wretches!" he called. Whom? To whom? To the Persian soldiers out there. Wretches means wicked person, the evil persons. So these Persians were evil as they have passed such kind of evil order. So the wretches, that was what they had put on at the town hall. Now he came to know it is that what was there on the bulletin board. Why there was crowd in front of bulletin board. And it was also clear that why that apprentice of blacksmith there, no, he said there is a plenty of time to go to school. That was a pinch in a very sarcastic way to taunt him. He said that don't be so hurry because it was already too late that we cannot undone it now. It was beyond repair. That is was going to be the last day. After that there is no need to do hurry because he was not going to have the French relations. His school will not be his school anymore, so no need to go hurriedly. So plenty of time is there. So that was a pinch he has taken to him. Ironical expression it was. So he understood that why did he say like that. So this was the last lesson. So let us see the next part. My last French lesson. Why I hardly knew how to write. The feeling of France. So when he came to know this is the last lesson, he says that I hardly knew how to write. I should never learn anymore. I must stop there then. Oh, how sorry I was for not learning my lessons, for seeking birds' eggs or going sliding on the Sahara. See, the same child, children, even you people are also the same. You don't want to attend the lesson, you don't want to study. Franz also, he doesn't want to study, he doesn't want to know the rules of the participles. He want to go outside because that day was such a warm and sunny day, a day to be outdoors, a day not to be indoors in the school. So a child who doesn't want to learn, now he wants to learn it desperately. Now he says that hardly I know how to write. Now how would I learn how to write it? He was feeling greatly sorry for not learning his lessons. He had often gone to the Tsar play sliding. Saar is a river in Europe that goes through Germany, France. So sliding, the game of sliding on the you know edge of river, a bank of river. So go sliding on the Saar, or sometime he often go to uh, seek the eggs in the jungle, bunking the classes, bunking the school. So he was feeling great regret about it and had not learned his lesson. My books, he says. See, read the further line. My book that had seemed such a nuisance a while ago, so heavy to carry, my grammar and my history of the saints were old friends now that I couldn't give up. See, all the books of history, books of grammar, and other books, all books, the books, no, he used to feel very heavy to carry, and a kind of nuisance, a troublesome one, a kind of kit. Yes, kind of kit. So you also might be feeling that books, you know, who want to read the books? Sometimes you might be feeling like this. So the same feeling this Franz has, but now he doesn't want to give it up. When the order has passed that these French medium books, the books in the French medium, in the French language, they must be given up. France doesn't want to give it. And M. Hamil too. The idea that he was going away, that I should never see him again, made me forget all about his ruler and how cranky he was. M. Hamil, his teacher, he announced that tomorrow the new teacher comes. German teacher will comes. A teacher who can teach in German. He will come. He has to go. Where he will go? Earlier, no. In those days, the teachers, the professors, the lecturers, the writers, the philosophers, these people used to be exiled whenever there used to be the wars, conquering of particular territory, because these are the intellectual people and they can encourage the people, entice the people to rebel against the government or conqueror or the ruler. So always the government or the rulers, always they are frightened of such kind of intellectual people. So that is why Chanakya says शिक्षक कभी साधारण नहीं होता. निर्माण और प्रलय उसके हाथ में, उसके गोद में खिलते हैं. चाणक्य कहता है निर्माण और प्रलय उसके गोद में खिलते हैं. So these are the people, the teachers, the lecturers, the professors, the philosophers, the writers, journalists. These are the people who can bring the changes, who can make the people revolt, who can change the things completely. They have got such a power, and that is why these people used to be exiled those days. Even now also, exiled means they have to leave the particular territory, particular part of their country. So now M. Hamel also had to leave this Alsace district, his own land, his own motherland. He had to leave, and our France was feeling very, very bad about it. The idea of his going away, M. Hamel's going away, he could not digest it. He could not tolerate this idea. But before this, the same teacher, he used to feel cranky one. Cranky means annoying, irritable. Who is always used to be write this one, learn this one, and do this one, and don't do this one. The teachers are like this, no? Teachers are never, liked by the student generally. Some teachers are liked. Lucky teachers like me. Or generally the strict disciplined teacher, they are not liked by the student at that time, but later when they leave the school, no, that was that they become the favorite of the students when they leave the school. Now fans forget everything about his cranky nature. Now he feels, see the next part, poor man. It was in the honor of this last lesson that he had put on his fine Sunday clothes. And now I understood why the old men of village were sitting there in the back of the room. It was because they were sorry too that they had not gone to school more. It was their way of thanking our master for his 40 years of faithful service and of showing their respect for the country that was theirs no more. See, now everything is clear. All the questions, all the doubts that were in the mind of Franz, they were clear. Now see, now I understand why. See in the chart. The first doubt. Why there was crowd in front of the bulletin board? He understood that. It's because of the order from Berlin of banning French in school and imposing German. The second doubt that was in the mind of Franz was the apprentice said plenty of time to go school when he was late. Why did he say so? Now he understood that it was the sarcastic and ironical way that he said it was now so late that he cannot go to school anymore and it is useless now. And the third doubt that was in his mind that why the school was so silent and solemn and grave. It was serious, it was solemn, it was silent, in regret and pain that they were not able to learn their own language anymore and become the victims of the Persian linguistic chauvinism. This is what linguistic chauvinism students, that German language is imposed and French is banned in among the French people. And the teachers like M. Hamel, the French teachers like M. Hamel, they were excited. That's why the school was silent. The fourth doubt in the mind of Franz, that why the special dress, fine Sunday clothes of M. Hamel, in the honor of the last lesson he had put on these clothes. The villagers were sitting in the classroom to thank their master for his 40 years service. M. Hamel served for 40 years and his service were, here he mentioned that it was faithful one. And by coming in the classroom, by coming in the last lesson, these villagers were showing their respect to their master and to their country also, which was no more theirs. M. Hamel did not say anything on Franz late coming. That was also doubt. Why he did not say? Because now the situation is that it is too late to say anything, and it's all no purpose of scolding Franz because now he cannot repair it. He cannot make it correct. So these were the doubts. Now it was clear one. The atmosphere is very serious and solemn now. Everybody is in the class. Let us see now what happens in the class. What happens in the last lesson in the next part. But before that, we also see there is little change we could see in the feelings of Franz. Just morning when he was coming to the school, what was the feeling of Franz? He doesn't want to go to school. He wanted to bunk the school and classes. He wanted to go to seek the bird's eggs. He want to go to the SAR for sliding. He doesn't want to learn the lesson. He feels that that the rules of the participants boring. But now he felt sorry and regret over all these things that he had not attended the classes and not learned. He wanted to learn now. He doesn't want to give up his books. He wants to learn now. The books, no, that seems to be very heavy. That seems to be very nuisance, troublesome one. Now this seems like French, and he doesn't want to give up these books. His teacher, he felt he was cranky, he was strict, he was frightening, but now he doesn't want to leave him too. He forget that he was cranky when he was strict one. So these were the changes in the Fran's feelings. So this was all about the today's lesson. Let us once again recapitulate that what today we have learned. The first thing that we have learned that an order has come from the Burli, from the Persian soldiers, Persian state that there will be no teaching of French in the school, and there will be teaching in German language. German language is imposed and French is banned. The second important point is about the school. Now the school is very silent, solemn, sad, and full of regrets by everybody, by the student, by the teacher, and by the villagers also, those who have come there. Uh, Another important point that France was very shocked to see all these things. He was also regretful of having not learned, lessons, and his feeling towards the school and towards the teachers and towards the books and towards everything had changed. And it was the Hammer's last lesson. The villagers comes there to show respect and thank you. So keep these things in mind, and let us note down, students, today's homework. Your first question is, why did villager come to the school? The second question is, why did Hammer put on his special uniform? And how did the feeling of France change by the order from Berlin? So this homework you should submit on the Google app. I am putting the homework there, and in the same post you have to write your answer. For this was all about today's lesson. Thank you very much.